That's a proof, fam. Peace and blessings. This is Derric Rakumar. And first of all, fam, I want to apologize. I didn't post a video last week. I kind of missed you all. The reason being is I went out with my family, went to a farm, and somehow, I don't know what happened, somehow I pivoted the wrong way or something, stepped the wrong way. Whatever the case was, I twisted my back. So I had a video that was I was ready to release and put out last week. All I had to do was finish editing it, and like I said, twisted my back, and it was like that was it. So Spirit was like, "Hey, you need to take a break." And situations like that sometimes they happen like that for me because I do have a tendency to be a workaholic, and yeah, Spirit goes ahead and it's like, hey, you need to take a break. So um, once again, like I said, I apologize for that. Try to go ahead and make up for that lost video by creating some more, giving you another couple more videos or so this week. Anyway, what I want to talk about, speaking of me twisting my back and all that kind of stuff, what I wanted to talk about was the difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Okay. Um, as I've mentioned in the previous video, or if you've read my blog, you've read the books or so, uh, you will recall that I always talk about how there was a diviner that basically, they did an oracle reading, and it was this diviner that told me that I was called to be a shaman. Said this diviner was the one. They told me, hey, Jehuti called you, and the reason why you're having the problems that you're having is mainly because you're not answering the call. You keep ignoring the call, and this is the reason why you keep having all these different problems. And when I finally, like I told you, like I've mentioned before, when my body became, deathly ill, and I'm laying up in the hospital, and laying up in the ICU. It was I remember it being at nighttime, kind of reminded you of a Halloween movie. It was so dark and everything. Uh, like, was just waiting for Michael Myers to walk through the hallways and everything. Um, but the thing about that was that there was people who were there. I'm there with hearing all these people and they're crying out. Some of these people are crying out, because they're in so much pain. They want it to be, just basically be taken away. And like I said, I remember when I was out there. I remember when I was laying on the gurney. Prior to doing all that, prior to getting in that situation, I remember I read a whole bunch of books. I knew a whole lot, learned a whole lot, studied a whole lot, believed a whole lot, you know. Uh, but when it came down to it, all right, when I was in that crunch time, or what we would call that crossroad situation, I had to make a decision. And I remember I was laying on the gurney when I was, making the decision that, hey, I'm gonna answer the call. And it was like, um, I basically had to take everything that I learned, everything that I supposedly knew and believed. And I basically, for the most part, I put it up in the air. And it was like, I let whatever it was, that was left in the air, and whatever basically fell, I was basically making a judgment what I knew to be real, what I knew to be true, what I knew to be ma'at. All right. Um, Now I'm saying that mainly because after I went through all that, I basically was able to derive my own way of doing things. Okay. And what was actually going on when I'm going through this whole calling period is that, or answering the call when I'm going through this, what's actually happening is that that situation, that crossroad situation, was me making the decision to go from knowing the path to actually walking the path. All right. Now, I'm saying that mainly because even though I was laid up for a little bit and I wasn't able to actually finish the videos that I was going to actually put out last week, I was reading some of the comments and I was reading some of the, messages that was coming to me. And I've had people, that basically say, hey, your interpretation of this is incorrect. And I'm like, first of all, how dare you? You know, who gives you the right to say that you have the all authority to tell somebody who's right and who's wrong? You know, you didn't put anybody on this planet. You didn't cause anybody to be incarnated here, you know? But this is the audacity and this is the mindset that a lot of us are in because of us coming from, this Western religious paradigm, this Western religious, perspective. You know, uh, we feel that if somebody doesn't have if they don't share the same views or share the same beliefs or ideas, then they're wrong, And unfortunately, there's all these people who've been on the internet, they sitting up here and they're debating this. Oh, well, this is what the Kemetic people believed and this is what the Kemetic people were about and this and that and the other. And it's just really utterly nonsense. Okay. Now, let me say this, all right? And I'm saying this, family, with, much love, because we all have to get to this point. We got to get to the point where the difference of knowing the difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Knowing the path is easy, okay? Knowing the path, all you have to do is read the books. All you have to do is read all the books written by Gerald Massey, the books written by Budge, the books written by Doc Ben and John Henry Clark, Doc John Henry Clark. Read all those books, okay? That's knowing the path, okay? All you're doing is basically you're filling yourself with information, all right? Or you're making yourself remember all this. All it does is basically it boosts your intellect, and that's it, okay? But walking the path is a completely different deal. Walking the path is where you extract out of all that information. You extract all that information just basically to go to justify and verify your living experiences. Okay? Now, I'm saying that again out of love, I'm saying it out of respect, but I'm trying to get us to understand something, okay? There's certain things that have actually taken place that we've experienced that you're just not going to find, that you're not going to find written about. When give you an example, when it was given to me, the Ma'an cosmogram, when that was given to me, there was nobody out there that basically could say this was correct or this was not correct. There wasn't anyone. I mean, I was able to basically utilize all the information that I had learned, everything that I had learned, and make a comparison to kind of, to do the scholarly work. But it was like after that, I had to actually put it in practice. And that's how I know what I know. Okay? So, I'm saying that again, family, because we have to get to this point of recognizing, and if you want to go further in regards to any spiritual development, we have to realize something, that there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Okay? Knowing the path is great. Knowing the path deals with, just like I said, it's just the intellect. It is just the scholarly work, which is great. But when it comes to actually putting into practice and implementing what you've learned, implementing what you've studied to see what works in your life in this lifetime, okay? That's the key point right there. It's what works in your life in this lifetime. That is actually walking the path, all right? So I hope that helps you. I hope that makes a little bit more sense. Again, don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is wrong. If it doesn't harm anyone and it's helping you, no one has the right to tell you that what you're doing is right, wrong, or or indifferent. No one has the right to tell you any of that. Okay. Understand and know that if you're starting to do things, you're starting to implement certain beliefs and certain practices, you're starting to actually implement it and you're walking that path, you're coming into your own truth. You're coming into your own ma'ah. And when you come into your own ma'ah, no one can actually, remember, walking the path a lot of times is alone. You're doing it by yourself. Okay. So when you're coming into your own ma'ah, your own truth, all right, live your truth, all right, live your truth. Do what you do. Like I said, if it's not harming anyone, and you're basically improving your life, do what you have to do in order for you to make yourself happy, keep yourself happy. Walk your path, all right, all right. I hope that helps. If you got any questions, feel free to drop me a line. Once again, thanks again for your donations. Thanks for subscribing, liking, and sharing. Talk to you all later. Hatapu. Peace.
Just take it on. Just take it on to the house. Come on, Tigolo. Be strong. Be strong, Tigolo. Be strong. Just take it home.